Welcome to FTB Weekends. I am Duffman. Duffman likes Duff beer. Actually, I am Jason C. McLean. And of course, as always, I am joined by Dawn McSweeney. Welcome, Dawn.
Hello. I
Hello.
am Unicorn.
You're a unicorn, and Dawn. We have a special guest. There's like a third person here. It's Holly Rhiannon. Hi, Holly.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I had a little accident earlier, but I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, but we should talk about it though, because it's this, by the way, it's FTB Weekends. And I'm gonna as I'm talking, I'm gonna see if I can do this very suavely. This is also our Halloween no, not spectacular. Wait for it.
Spook-Tacular.
I'm gonna say it. Wait for it.
Sorry.
Spook-Tacular. Okay. So we thought we'd do something a little bit different. We normally talk about the news. By the way, we're recording this the 26th of October at 7:09 p.m. So in case Halloween gets canceled or all the zombies actually do rise up or something like that, and we're not talking about it, it's because even though you're seeing this Saturday, we actually recorded this on Wednesday, and give us kudos for still uploading it even though there's a zombie apocalypse happening. Right?
Facts.
So
if there is one, are they going to be able to see it?
Are they going to good point.
This is the only thing they get in their bunker. They have to see it over and over.
Okay, so instead of talking about the news, we're going to talk about Halloween, but it's almost like there's two Halloweens. I find there's the very sort of, I guess, the commercial one, the classic one, the one with the candies, the trick-or-treating for the kids, the hats, the costume parties, the very like the mass culture, like personalities putting on costumes once a year for no apparent reason. And then there's, I guess, I'd say in particular, Holly, you're somebody who more is interested in the paranormal year round, would you not say?
Oh yeah, every day is Halloween for me.
Every day. So if every day is Halloween for you, what is Halloween for you?
Oh, well, it's a little bit extra. It's funny because I actually had I posted a picture on Instagram of this look before I came on here, and someone said to me, like, "Oh, wow, like great outfit." I'm like, "Well, I just, dressed up a bit." It's like, honestly, the only thing different from what I usually wear is there's more blood. Like normally it would just be me. So I feel like it's a extra chance to go like all out a little bit more, because I would like to do this all year round, but it's not really socially acceptable to just cover yourself in blood when you go outside. It tends to bother people, but when you do it in October, they don't mind. Like it's acceptable. And but I mean, there's also the sort of spiritual connection of Samhain, where you're honoring the balance between life and death. And I think about that a bit more than I usually do at this time of year. So there's a little bit more ritual, a little bit more intensity.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I have to agree. I would also like to dress like this every day, but it's not as socially acceptable. So I guess maybe it's true. There are two types of people, it's like, but yeah. And also like, I like some of the I like it when all the holidays kind of line up and you could see what all the holidays are doing around the world at the same time. So it's like Diwali's now, because you need the light and you want to remember that kind of light. And this allows us to remember both, like you were saying, the coming darkness, so to speak, and the balance between life and death. And then also to remember to create just joy out of nothing for the sake of joy.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I've also I guess coming back to it too, there's people involved. You ever hear sometimes people like there's sort of this belief that Halloween is supposed to be just for the kids. I wonder where that came about. Like, do you have any idea where that kind of thinking came about?
I think adults 2 generations ago were 800 when they were 16. I think we've created, at the very least, Gen Xers, I have to say, are the first ones who created this perpetual Peter Pan life. I mean, our parents didn't dress up when they were our age, Jason.
Yeah. When there were young people like us, like I'm now realizing my actual age, but that's a whole other story.
Well,
but yet here we are in these outfits. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that
Yeah.
the sense of adulthood has changed.
well,
But
also you had trick or treating, which forgive me, I forget the specifics of the origin, but it was related to pagan Samhain festivities. And I think probably the evolution of that specifically, turning it to candy, and candy, candy equals kids. And then it just sort of went from there, right? And became commercialized. So I think the commercialization of the holiday really made it more of a kid thing and less of a life and death, nature celebration, end of harvest type of deal.
And the jack-o'-lantern used to be made out of a turnip, which just sounds darker in general. So I mean, it seems like if you're out carving the turnip to ward off some spirits on a cold day in Ireland, like it's just the whole thing sounds so much spookier than just the way we do it now. Like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
And imagine everybody creeping around before streetlights, like the whole thing must have been very frightening.
I'm wondering where costume parties came from. Like that. I think that's sort of a reason for adults. Like the a lot of the offices will have their costume party or a costume contest.
Wondering why children get all the fun.
Yeah.
Once again, that's our parents did not have office Halloween dress up parties. Again, this is
I mean, I remember when my parents said to me, like, okay, this is the age when you stop trick-or-treating. I didn't want to. I mean, who wants to stop trick-or-treating? Who wants to stop
Seriously.
doing that? Like, so you got to figure out some way to carry it on.
If I put on a really small sounding voice and said I was going as a bearded 40-year-old man in his 40s, do you think that might be just seen as a really good costume for an 8-year-old? Or do you think
you could put on an outfit and buy yourself all the candy you want, right?
I know. It's just better when someone else gives it to me. Because then
you
it's
need
like
you need the ritual too. It's free and there's the ritual.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I mean, trick or treating at costume parties. That's something I think we should start. I don't know. It's but I think it's good. I think honestly, I've always liked the theatricality of Halloween. Like that's something I've always been interested in. Just the fact that it's performed. I would come up with I would always act out my costumes. Like I at one point put a garbage bag on, taped some leaves to it, and said, "I am the Leaf Lord," and I would just point at people and zap leaf. And I didn't know what was supposed to happen when I pointed at them, and I don't think they did either. And I think they just thought, okay, why did you bring this guy to the party?
But I was gonna say this isn't an adult-approved costume. How old were you here? What happened?
I was 22, I think.
That was a drunken choice.
The superpower was making people confused.
That's true.
Yes. There you go. My favorite from high school, I remember I've seen a few people say this. It's like, what are you dressed? You didn't come in a costume. Oh, I'm a serial killer. We look like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have a bunch of cool costumes, but got invited to more costume parties. But literally, my boyfriend and I were in a costume store, and we were like, "But for what? Like, we're not going anywhere, but we kind of want to dress up. But for what?" And if I had an extra closet, I'd probably just fill it like a tickle trunk. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I have a costume trunk.
But that's no surprise.
Yeah, so on Halloween, Holly, do you think that I'm getting this admittedly from The Crow, but the whole connection between the spirit world and the living world is closer than ever before? Is that
the veil is thin? The veil is thin on Halloween, and I think personally, that it's almost like a Peter Pan effect, like Tinkerbell effect. The more you have the belief, the more energy there is behind it. So when you have a day where everyone's believing in the paranormal, like I feel that there are a lot of paranormal experiences that are caused by our own, imagination and energy. So that veil being thin, it's kind of chicken and egg, right? Like which came first? Was it us gathering and sort of creating it this way, or is that an actual thing? I think it's a little bit of both.
See, I agree with you because I feel that about Christmas. Like there's nothing, I don't really have a Christian bone in my body, and I'm really not into I don't know, I love Christmas. And the more you love it, the more it gives you. And the more every little silly snowfall and every little Christmas carol does it. And it's but if you're not in that mood and you're not in that space, then you're like, ugh, this is ugh. but the more you believe in it, the more it works.
Yes. Now, this weekend in Montreal in particular, obviously there's a lot going on, just probably private costume parties or like Halloween parties. The kids have their own thing. There's shows. I know both Holly and I'm actually personally involved in Haunted Montreal. Holly is part of that as well too. And I'm hosting a lot of ghost tours this weekend. You can check one out tonight, pretending it's actually Saturday when we're recording this. And yeah, so there's definitely a lot to do with Halloween. But Holly, I guess a little bit of a plug here. I mean, you're also you're both actually authors, right? Holly, your book just came out recently, right? What's your tell us about your book there?
Oh, I have well, I've written quite a bit. I've done graphic novels, but this is my first full, like, lengthy YA novel. It's called A Time When Demons. And it's a coming of age story. It's about a main character named Eris Cadigan, who is a witch, and she doesn't really respect her magic. And it's kind of important to respect your abilities. And because of this, something goes terribly wrong one night, and she's plunged into a dark murder mystery.
Ooh, okay. So there's always, even if it's your writing thing, there's a bit of the paranormal put into that as well too, obviously.
Oh yeah. I was raised by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I mean everything comes back to that.
Yeah, and you also have well, I mean, Dawn, you're also an author as well too. And you're also both you're part of an author's series. I saw you did a show already. You have another one coming up, I believe.
Well, we did a reading at Argo Books. We definitely want to do more. We don't have a solid one planned out yet, but it definitely will happen.
Yeah, and Holly, people can watch your videos today. It's Saturday. Let's pretend like it's Saturday. Hey, Friday night was wild, eh, guys? Remember Friday?
Oh yeah.
That was crazy.
Friday was at Goth Night, Dark 80s Goth Night at Berlin.
And how was it?
Oh, it was amazing. I can't remember most of it.
Approximately how many people were in attendance? And can you tell me the order of the songs that the DJ played them in? No.
I'm at the museum right now, Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, and I'm currently at their new exhibit, Seeing Aloud, which is Basquiat with music. That's where I am when you're watching this.
Yeah, that's where you are, and also I'm probably hosting ghost tours. And Holly, we can watch you on Saturdays. So you have two different video series coming out. There's the Haunted Montreal videos come out every Saturday, ghost stories, and the other one as well too. Tell us about both.
Yeah, so for the Haunted Montreal channel, I'm really excited about this one. We're, of course, doing a Halloween special. Generally, we go through the creator Donovan King's blogs in order, but I moved it around a little bit so I could do this one on Halloween. And it's all about the ghost of Houdini. And for it, we have a special guest who I interviewed, Dean Gunnarsson, who is the Houdini of today. He's a very well-known, Guinness World Record breaker, escape artist, and he did magic at my 5th birthday party. So I got in touch with him again. My dad's worked with him doing some poster art and stuff. And I was like, it would be perfect to talk to Dean. So I'm excited to release that one. And on my writing channel, I'm wrapping up Preptober. This is a very busy time of year for me because I'm a municipal liaison for National Novel Writing Month, and we've got that coming up in November, but all of October is Preptober. So I've been doing educational videos leading up to that, and then it's fully into writing 50,000 words in the month of November.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you could also, Dawn and I, our series, The Outside World, it's probably, I think it's at episode 8 is being released. That should be up. I can't remember what episode we're up to.
And it's really good. Like, I just want to say, like, I mean, I know that sounds silly because we did it, but when we did it, as we were doing it, listening to ourselves say it versus the post-production edited version where we're like, oh, it sounds profesh. Like, it's a big difference. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And I mean, we've actually gone through this whole thing without talking about news, which is like politics or anything like that,
it's so overrated at this point.
Of course,
it's redundant.
This is the weekend where like Sweden's gonna not drop a nuclear bomb on Britain or something like that. We're not gonna be talking about it.
I'm pretty sure the only way to find joy right now is just to create your small, cultivate your small patch of land, so to speak, to grow your own flowers and to just not look at other people's flowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna put all the okay. So Holly, I guess your well, it's at on YouTube. It's at Haunted Montreal for the videos. And it's at for your other channel is what?
So YouTube, there's Haunted Montreal, and then there's Holly Rhiannon Writes, or it's just Holly Rhiannon if you look me up. And I'm everywhere on social media under the name Stygian Pen, Stygianpen.
And Dawn's everywhere as Mick Moxie on Twitter and Instagram, at least. I'm at Jason C. McLean. And of course, you can actually, if you're watching this on Facebook, you can follow Forget the Box on Facebook, at Forget the Box on Twitter and Instagram as well, too. I love saying this. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure you get all the notifications so you're constantly notified at Forget the Box. We can also have an Android app, and also we're going to tell you some of the other stuff going on this weekend in Halloween. The posts have probably been coming out already, and we'll have more today. So for daily content, check out forgetthebox.net, and we will catch you next time for another FTB weekend.